Well, hello, welcome to Tarot 2T. Today we're going to do mid-March 2023, a reading for the sign of Aquarius. If this is the first time to my channel, welcome, and if you're coming back, welcome back as always. Appreciate your support. Glad to see you here. So we're going to open up a general inquiry. What message does Aquarius need to hear for mid-March 2023? Whoa, guess there we have something starting up there. And I do want to mention, I'm thinking of doing extended readings. I know I've been working on doing personal readings, and I don't know, I'm not finding it doable right now with my schedule to do personal readings. But I think I could do extended readings, but I can't do every sign. So, that said, if you are interested in seeing extended readings for your sign, I'm going to base it on how many likes I get for that particular sign on that video. So if you want to start hitting the like button, and we'll see how it goes, and we'll see what sign comes up each month. Like I said, I wish I could do every sign, but at this point I just have a very hectic schedule, so I'm sure you understand, especially if you're a working person like I am. Okay, Aquarius, let's see what's going on with you. Ten of Hearts. Very nice. So something completed here that really fulfilled you and satisfied you. This is ultimate happiness. Woohoo! Nice start to your reading for mid-March. Eight of Diamonds. It might have involved some kind of solo effort, perhaps in business, perhaps some kind of side hustle. This is about putting hard work, time, and energy into something and reaping the rewards. So you're off to a very fantastic start so far, and there's a lot of personal growth going on. But it's also leading to other options and opportunities for personal growth. Now, my first instinct is to say that personal growth is financial and or emotional, since we had the two strong cards that indicate there's something going on for you that's bringing you a lot of joy and happiness, but also financially rewarding. But that personal growth really can occur on any level. We'll keep pulling some cards and see what else is going on for you. Jack of Clubs, Six of Hearts. So the Jack of Clubs could be a fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. If not, and a younger fire sign, denoted by Jack. If it's not a person, it could mean that you have that in your chart, you're embodying that energy somehow. The Jack of Clubs, just in general, is generally just somebody who's very supportive and generous. Not necessarily with their money, but all across the board, they're generous, right? It's kind of like having that supportive friend. You know what I'm getting? Because with the Six of Hearts, that talks about the opportunities to meet somebody special, to meet somebody significant in your life. You could be meeting a fire sign, or you've already met them, and there's options and opportunities around that person for them to become significant in your life. It doesn't mean like right off the bat that's the way it happened. You know, it could be a relationship that grows, and that relationship does not have to be romantic. So that could be like the best business partner you've ever met. This could be a person who becomes a very good friend, or some kind of extended family in some capacity. But yeah, I'm picking up. You got this fire sign that's going to potentially become something really big. Just to let you know, if you don't already kind of pick that up. Seven of Spades. This talks about hidden information coming to light. You know what? It just hit me that... So, let's say you know this fire sign, and when I mentioned it, and again, they could be younger than you, you didn't realize that, yeah, you feel something pretty deep for them. You know what I mean? Like they jive with you on a level that perhaps you didn't recognize it for what it was. It wasn't conscious to you, but perhaps in me speaking about it, that's come to light, because this talks about things that were hidden before, and they're being revealed. But honestly, with Seven of Spades, a lot of times that information is not pleasant. It's not positive. In this case, it could be, though. Like, I don't know, it's kind of a old cliche movie theme where two people meet and one day it hits one of them that they really feel they have feelings for the other person. You know what I mean? I can't think of a movie right offhand, but it's like they have that shot on that person and they have stars in their eyes and they're looking at this person in a completely different light. It's like they just never realize, because maybe they're having all these relationship problems on the side, and this person has been there as a support, and then boom, it hits them that the person who's been there as a support is the person they're really in love with. Could be something as crazy as that. It just like hits you one day that, yeah, you really dig that person. Anyway, yeah, you're desiring this companionship. Look at that. The Two of Hearts talks about that desire for somebody special to come into your life in whatever form that takes. It's about connection. It's about feeling balanced and secure with somebody, and there being ultimate harmony. I keep dropping cards, but I keep putting them back in the deck because there's too many. Just so you're aware, I'm not ignoring them. The Eight of Spades. This is quite different from the rest of this reading, because I was really liking how light and fun this this reading started off. This is indicating you need to release some stress around work. Now, if it's not actual employment that's stressing you out, I sometimes see this as something you're putting a lot of effort into, and therefore it is work. Let's say you're overthinking something, or you've had a problem for a while, or you've had issues with a family member, or there's some kind of drama going on and it's become unbearable because you put too much energy into it than is sustainable. You can't sustain it anymore. Just as an example, but you could have something going in your work life that's it's taxing you in some way. Emotionally, mentally, or physically, or all of the above, like too many hours, being asked to do too many things, being spread too thin, but that tension there, that pressure needs to be relieved. Interesting, it took a turn. Because you have this Eight of Diamonds, I'm almost seeing this as not necessarily a business that you do as your sole income. Maybe it's something on the side. I think a lot of us do that these days. We have these other things going on. So this Eight of Diamonds, like I said, that's like the entrepreneurship card. That's that solo effort, something paying off. I don't necessarily see that tied up with your work. Whoa, that was definitely a flying fish card. The Seven of Diamonds. So yeah, I think you've reaped some financial rewards here from this, because the Seven of Diamonds just kind of, it's a little bit of a warning about not spending extravagantly, or taking unnecessary gambles or risks that way. Perhaps you've kind of been heading that way because all of a sudden you have like extra resources. You have these big paychecks coming in, and you've been tempted. I'm just saying you've been tempted to spend it in ways that the universe is saying, be careful with that. Okay? Maybe you have been overworked with your employer. You've been putting in a lot of hours, and therefore you do have all that extra income coming in. It could be as simple as that, but it's saying be careful how you spend it. Things are up in the air for you, and you don't know quite where things are headed. This is the Black and White Joker, and it's also the Fool card. And that's how I see that Fool energy. We just don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's headed up around the corner. Some readers like to see this as a new start. I don't know that you're necessarily on a new start. It's just, I don't know, it's like the future's open to you in some way. Perhaps you don't have any real direction as far as attaining any kind of goal at the moment. Because if you're experiencing this is about kind of, I want to say relaxing, but you're celebrating. You're taking time to really enjoy yourself and enjoy your whatever benefits have come your way. This is that it's kind of, you can kind of see it being in vacation mode, but it's really about celebration. And so if you don't have that direction, yeah, things could just have this kind of air of being unsettled, you know. We're going to go ahead and look at your cards of advice, because we have a couple different themes going on here. I don't want it to get too convoluted. For these mid-month readings, they are general. I just want to remind you of that. If they don't fit your situation, that's okay. You can always come back and join me for the next one, and it might just fit what's going on. So let's go ahead and get into your advice. The Jack of Hearts, the Five of Spades. Jack of Hearts could be a younger water sign energy, Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer. The Five of Spades talks about a breakup. Now, if you're not dealing with a younger water sign, that Jack of Hearts could also mean that that's kind of what you're carrying around with you. You have kind of that young, open, literally like your heart is open. But I like to always remind you that when we have our heart open, not necessarily too much, but when we have our heart open, there's that tendency to be vulnerable or to feel vulnerable even. It just kind of goes with the flow. I mean, if somebody doesn't have their guard up, something can come out of the blue that causes you to be defensive. But at the moment, it looks like you could be in that mode of, I don't know, just like being too open, because you're being directed with the Five of Spades to break off from that in some way. Now, it literally could be a water sign. You could be involved with a water sign. Okay? Especially in light of this over here, with there potentially being a fire sign that's going to be that someone special. Remember that scenario I kind of painted earlier with the movie scene? And someone like being in your life that you're focused on, but really it's this person over here that is your best match. They're going to be the one that becomes something significant. So I'm kind of seeing it both ways. You could be involved with a younger water sign and you're being advised to kind of let that go. I mean, breakup is kind of harsh. It's not necessarily like you need to like pull off your ring and throw it on the ground and say we're done. But if you have some kind of casual relationship that's going on, you're being asked to change that situation by walking away from it. Okay? And if you don't have somebody like that fits that bill, I don't know, having your heart open and perhaps protecting yourself a little better by not being so vulnerable. The Two of Spades, yeah, something is... Now, you have had some kind of split here from somebody or something, and this is pretty permanent. A lot of times this can be like a fight between two friends. There's like an argument. I'm also seeing that if you are involved with that water sign, or you were, and you have broke things off with them recently, yeah, that's over. That would be a very literal interpretation of the cards that just came out here. I think it's just the universe kind of confirming that that's not going to repair itself, and it's just kind of done. The King of Diamonds. Now, this could be a earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. I actually see this as you taking control of your financial health here, because you had fantastic indications down here that you're doing okay financially, especially if you're being advised not to gamble. Usually people who don't have a lot of money are not, they don't have that issue with gambling. Now, I'm not addressing anyone who has a problem with gambling, so I know that that can occur even though you don't have the resources. You can have a problem with it. I think we're speaking more to an Aquarian who has more abundance around them at the moment, and hopefully permanently. I don't mean to make it sound temporary, because the King of Diamonds again is about taking control of those finances. The King of Diamonds energy in general has very good head on their shoulders, and they handle finances very well. And it's not about gender, so please don't look at it as male. Nine of Spades. So something completed here that's over, and it was a real disappointment or loss. Again, you might have broke off with this water sign. I think that's a very prominent theme here. Talking to an Aquarian who was involved with a water sign, broke things off, it's over, it's complete, it's not going to repair itself. And this Nine of Spades is just kind of acknowledging that that's a completion. You don't have to worry about that coming back or hanging on to it. I think it's also kind of indicating to me that you're not going to be hanging on to it because it's in your, in your past. And just to kind of recognize that is closed. It's not a major chapter, it's just something that's closed. Tower card. My goodness. So again, on the heels of some kind of breakup, and I don't think this was a marriage. I don't think this is like that one of those long-term relationships that went on for years. I think it's somebody that you were dating for a while, perhaps, or maybe you considered yourself paired up with them. But you're rebuilding from that, because this Tower card, as you've probably heard other readers talk about the Tower moment, it's about a structure that needs to come down. It's not secure in some way, but you're rebuilding on a solid foundation. So it is a new start and it's a rebirth. And I do think it's focused around relationship, because most of your advice up here, and honestly all through here, is peppered this desire for companionship, the potential right here, the options and opportunities to meet somebody special. I mean, there's this theme that you have going, Aquarius, that you really want that secure long-term relationship, the LTR in your life. You want to meet that person. So you're starting over from that. Very good. From a solid foundation. Now, I don't mean to minimize this relationship that you broke off with the water sign, because I think it wasn't just somebody you went out with a couple times. I think you actually did establish some kind of connection with them. I just don't see it as a marriage breaking up. I don't think it was something that permanent. You might not have even been living with them. Had your own life going. But it was significant enough that it was like a tower. It was something that affected you on a deep level, especially with this Nine of Spades. You also have this ace that just popped out while I was speaking. This is, again, a new start. It's about learning a new skill or acquiring some new information or knowledge. It could have to do with business. I don't necessarily see it in relationship. If it does pertain to relationships, I see it as learning like a new communication skill. Learning how to communicate with your partner better, for example. Or the knowledge of learning how to meet the right person. If you catch my drift, if you're one of these people that just doesn't have any good ideas about how to meet somebody, I don't necessarily think meeting people online is the most ideal. I know it's the most popular because it's the easiest. I think it can work in some cases. I'm not saying it never works, but it seems like in our digital age here, that's what people rely upon. And I think a lot of games can be played online that don't end so well, and they just kind of end up, wasting your time. There's nothing that can be compared to meeting somebody in person and seeing them in person versus seeing a profile, reading it, having a few text messages, and then meeting them and realizing, oh no, you have no chemistry with them at all, because you can't get that connection as easily over the internet. You just can't. Or over the cell phone. Anyway, don't mean to go off on a rant. The Queen of Diamonds, again, this is Earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. I tended to equate the Queen actually more with Taurus. You might have a Taurus around you. Again, this could be you kind of taking control of your finances, like with the King of Diamonds. It's very much along the same lines. The Queen is just a little bit less dominant. I don't know, maybe over here this is about taking more force, especially if you have some kind of side business and that's what your focus has been. Or I don't know, it's kind of hard to balance that out as far as what each energy could mean. It's kind of the same thing. Queen versus king. Just king is, I just see it as a little bit more forceful in some ways, more dominant. But queen definitely has her power and authority. 8 of clubs. So there's some kind of crossroads that you have here. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what you want to do next in business, because it did come out just right after that Queen of Diamonds. Because again, I kind of see this completion here might have had to do with reaching some kind of goal. Not necessarily financial, but it just kind of seems like you've reached some kind of pinnacle in your life with that Ten of Hearts. And that's what you originally started off with. And this right here is definitely talking about reaping some kind of financial reward after putting effort and time into something that you created, right? So the crossroads decision could be about what you do next. It could be in line with what you start next, the project you're going to start next, the skill you're going to learn next, just the knowledge that you need to gain to go in that direction. For some reason, I'm seeing it as associated with driving your income, your abundance, going in that direction. Any more cards of advice for Aquarius, please? And look at that. You're definitely on this path to follow your heart. And I do think it applies to romance, but I think it's just, in general, you want to do something that you truly feel passionate about. You know, I went into zone there because I was looking at this about relieving the stress around work. Now, whatever you accomplished here with this 8 of Diamonds, it could have been very stressful, even though it was successful and you got the rewards out of it. It could have been like something you didn't ever intend to stay in long term. So hence the Ace of Hearts energy is more about following your instincts. What really makes you want to keep going at it, you know, that passion. Doing some kind of creative effort. But again, I also see it as you being picky about who you're involved with, especially after this breakup. The other interpretation, like I said, with that Jack of Hearts, is that vulnerability. Yeah, you're not gonna be in that like totally open mode, for example, anymore. You're gonna be very discerning about who you get involved with. Could be also that, but you have an emphasis on new starts. You have the Ace of Hearts, you have the Ace of Clubs, and you have that Tower card, the Ace of Spades. So you're rebuilding from a place. I don't think anything devastating happened here. I don't see any cards of major loss. There was this back here. Again, that's something in the past. It could have been this, you know, past relationship. Whatever it was, there was some kind of thing that is definitely gone to a spades, and it's over, it's behind you. And so, yeah, going forward, I don't think you're going to compromise anymore. I think that's the crux of this reading today for you, Aquarius. I am going to end it there. Again, if you would like to see a extended reading on the next reading that comes out, go ahead and hit the like. And if you want to see when the next reading comes out, you want that notification, hit subscribe notification. And I want to remind you, I have a tip jar that can be accessed in the bottom of the description box if you'd like to make a small donation. Okay? I appreciate you being here. I'm excited for you. I think this is a very positive reading overall, especially with the new starts. That's always exciting, right? Because that means you have optimism for the future. All right. Take care until I see you again.